Well, I want to start by thanking everyone for coming out here tonight. It's a pleasure to be in a room full of people that care so deeply about the future of our city. My name is Jonathan Cote, and I'm running to be the next mayor of New Westminster. I'm running because I want our city to reach its full potential. Our city is at a point in transition, and it's time for fresh ideas and new solutions. Now, I'm proud to have served on New Westminster City Council for the past 9 years. During this time, our city has changed a lot, and I'm proud to have been a part of that change. But this election is not about the past 10 years. It's about the future. It's time for a mayor that is willing to step forward and address the real challenges that we're going to face. It's time for a mayor that is going to put forward a platform with ideas and a vision for the future. Now, I've spent the last 3 weeks releasing my platform and my vision for the future of New Westminster, and I want to take a few moments to talk about that. First and foremost is transportation. I want to lead a New Westminster that has a transportation system that works. I've knocked on over 3,000 doors in this election campaign, and no issue has come up more than this issue. Now, I can't sit here and stand and say, if elected mayor, there'll be no more congestion in the city of New Westminster. We're located right in the middle of Metro Vancouver. We have 400,000 vehicles traveling through our city each day. We've got some tremendous challenges. But I've been proud to serve as the co-chair of the city's master transportation plan for the last 3 years, and I believe it's critically important that this plan be implemented. Now, solving our transportation problems will involve finding ways to efficiently move the traffic through our city, but it also has to be a discussion about how we protect the livability of our neighborhoods. We also need to start doing transportation different in our region. Our region is expected to grow by 1.2 million people in the next 25 years, and if we have the same rates of car ownership, we think we have problems now. You haven't seen anything yet. If you lined up all the cars that would be expected to come to our region, they would line up all the way from New Westminster to Ontario. So that gives you an idea of what we're dealing with. I also think that New Westminster needs to recognize that we're not an island unto ourselves. We need to look outside of our borders. It's one thing to say we don't want more vehicles from Surrey traveling through our city each day, but New Westminster has to advocate as hard or even more hard for the expansion of transportation options in Surrey. Because if we don't do that, our problems are only going to get worse. Another issue that's important in this election to me is our local economy. I want to lead a New Westminster that has a strong local economy. I don't believe you can have a livable community in New Westminster unless you also have a vibrant and thriving economy. Now, I think the City of New Westminster needs to develop some strong policies to protect and preserve our commercial and industrial lands. We've seen a lot of pressure over the past 10 years to see our employment lands converted to residential development. And this is a challenge to our city, because a truly livable city is one where people have the opportunity to work in the city and find good jobs in the city in which they live. It's also a problem for our tax base. If we become a bedroom community, our residential tax base will become unsustainable. Now, the final issue that I want to talk about is community engagement. I want to lead a New Westminster that is prepared to have meaningful and genuine dialogue with our residents. Now, a few weeks ago, I had an opportunity to speak to a resident who said, I love what's happened in New Westminster over the past 10 years. We've done a lot of great things, but I feel like I've been excluded from the process. And that comment really struck me. It struck me that, yes, I think there is a lot of room for improvement on how we talk and engage with our residents. I think the City of New Westminster needs to get outside of City Hall and actually get out in the neighborhoods. Gone are the days where you can set up a few poster boards at City Hall and call that community engagement. We need to visit the neighborhoods, we need to visit our businesses, we need to show up at every street festival where people are and have a genuine dialogue. We also need to start using technology more and to make it easier and more convenient. Okay, on November 15th, mark your ballot next for Jonathan X. Cote.
Good evening, thank you for coming. I am Vladimir. Can you hear me in the back? I'm Vladimir Krasnogor, and in case you are wondering, the accent you can hear right now is Russian, a little bit of German. I have been in New Westminster since 1994. I have been involved in community for a good 10 years. I live just 1 block away from your residential neighborhood, across from Royal, half a block. and I am very well familiar with the traffic problems in New Westminster and especially on Royal Avenue. I'm an electrical engineer. I spent 2 years at UBC to confirm my degree. I worked at a large manufacturing facility right here on another island. It was called Dynapro, and we had over there a very sophisticated, interesting, what we call management change control system. One of my goals is to introduce the same system in City Hall, which will make the City Hall so much more efficient and organized. Not a single inquiry to City Hall will go unanswered and unreplied and without action, which I know happens all the time and happened to me. I asked to install 2 benches at Toronto Place Park. I'm waiting for an answer since July 8th. Why I'm running and why I got involved? I got involved exactly for the same reason that all of you. You came here because you understand that the city is not moving in the right direction. You want to do something about it. My opponents and incumbent councillors who run, by the way, they all run on the, what we call now, machine slate. They all paint the picture in a very rosy color, like everything is fine, small problems, but it's nothing to worry about. I trust that you, the voters, will realize that if you elect the same people again, the next 4 years will be exactly the same as the last 12 years. And the traffic congestion will just get worse and worse. The residential taxes will go up and up, being already the second highest in the region. Business tax will go up and up, being already the highest tax in Metro Vancouver. The very expensive pet projects will continue. Debt will go up and up. And the expense of running the City Hall, which is basically wages, will keep going up and up and up. I believe that at this point in New Westminster we need new innovative solutions and we need change. And to get this change, my best solution that I can present to you is to elect all independent council members, all independent school trustee members, and elect the mayor who will vote the best with the council and the school trustees, and this will be Vladimir. I am an independent candidate. As all independent candidates, my budget is rather small. I base my campaign on talking to people like you, and I'm trying to convince you with my strength of my logic, ideas, rather than the size of my advertising. So I would like to thank again for organizers to give me this opportunity to meet you today. I also had a website where you'll find all information that I didn't have time to present today. Thank you very much. On November 15th, please vote for Vladimir Krasnogor and all independent councillors and school trustees. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm Mayor Wright, and it sounds like I'm the one that's going to get all the bad things that have happened here in the past 12 years. Well, I have a different opinion. I think our city is moving forward. I think it's looked upon by the rest of the Lower Mainland as being a place that's on the move. There has to be changes. We are making the changes. But I think you should know how a council works. First of all, there are 7 of us. And those 7 people make all your judgments and all your votes. Now, what you need is a very strong leader there that can direct and help the votes to come through in the proper way with this discussion. And it's when we need something from the regular community, there's 7 of us that should be going out and speaking to you. There are 7 people that you're going to be voting for. So what I'm here tonight, more importantly than anything, is who am I going to vote for that's sitting in front of me? I've worked with many of them that are on council today, some that were on council yesterday. But I can tell you this, as a mayor in the Lower Mainland, the main thing I can tell you is that we are a very positive source in the Lower Mainland. I can tell you that the other mayors and the other people on higher levels of government are looking at us and saying, New Westminster's on the right track. We're doing the things that you want. Somebody asked about the piece of property that we have across the street for rental properties. The biggest thing that's needed in the Lower Mainland, you hear everybody talking about it, New Westminster does it. And then when you look and you see where your taxes are there because it's amenities that we give back to you. You have the best police force that there is in the Lower Mainland. It does cost a little more. But are you unhappy with the crime here compared to some of our neighbors? I would hope not. And when you look and see the laws that we're passing for everyone, not just one small minority of people, it's everyone we're trying to take for. It's not an easy job. So my position, and the most important thing you have to do, is select and choose a mayor that can lead. All right, and if there's one thing you can say that's been happening in the last 12 years, you've had good leadership and a good council. So look at this council, balance the council, because if we're there together, we can make the decisions that you want us to make, but never put the onus just on one person. So be fair tonight, give every one of these people the chance to say what they want to do, be selective on who you want, mark their names down, because if they hit you at the right place, they'll be the right place to be on your council, and I want to lead them, and I know I can with my experience, I know the knowledge that I have, and for the last thing, I'm the first mayor in many, many years in this city that sits not only as the vice chair of all the mayors, I also sit as the first board member of Translate, which is the transportation center, and I'll at least be sitting there, not 21 other mayors, the mayor of New Westminster, so we can get the information and take care of us as well as the rest of the region. So I'd like you to give me one more term. I think I said it once before. I'm glad to do it, all right? I'm working hard for you, and you'll see the same results, which is us moving forward. So thanks for coming with us and sharing.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from each of the council candidates. They each will have now 2 minutes to introduce themselves and give us a brief reason on why they're running. Now, the councillors, the candidates for council are on the table here, all lined up, more or less in alphabetical order, so that they're in the order in which they will be on the ballot. So we'd like to start with Mr. Ashton.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is John Ashdown. I'd like to thank all the Downtown Residents Association people for showing up tonight and listening to us. And just a word about myself. I lived in the Moody Park area of New Westminster for 35 years. I'm married to Marge Ashdown. I'm Papa John to 5 adult kids and 8 grandkids. I'm also known as Honest John to those who know me, because I speak my mind. Sometimes I speak too loudly, but I speak my mind. I was a founding president of the West End Business Association, owner of 2 large trucking companies, the owner of the Village Coffee Lounge for 4 years, and winning the Kobe Award for Community Spirit. That experience afforded me an opportunity to see what it is like to own a small business in this city. I am currently a past president and current member of the Moody Park Residents Association and president of the Fraternal Order of Eagles, and of Eagles in New Westminster. I ran in a previous election to bring a balance to City Council, and I'm running this year for the same reason, because I feel the balance has deteriorated further. I believe I have the fearless strength and determination to serve as opposition to what I see as an attempt to monopolize council. We need opposition to protect taxpayers from self-interest policymakers, and I will do my utmost to defend business and residential taxpayers of our fine city. Some of my platform items, and I will be cut off fairly soon, but are controlling overspending to hold down our taxes, and there it goes. So I've got about 8 more, and I'll be glad to talk to you about them later on. My contact information is being circulated, and I will be willing to discuss any of the above at any time. So thank you, and please vote Ashdown John. Easily found at the top of the ballot, very top. And I do not have the usual ending slogan. However, for a better downtown, vote Ashdown. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. My name is Marge Ashdown, and I've lived in the Moody Park area of New Westminster since 2003. I'm running in the civic election as an independent candidate for City Council to have a voice in the future of New Westminster and to
know, New Westminster is a great community. We do have some challenges though, so let's move forward with transportation, budget concerns, development, business issues, our high school, and pedestrian safety, to name a few. I am a member of the Kiwanis Club of New Westminster, serving the children of New Westminster. The Kiwanis Care Center, working with our seniors in New Westminster. The Hyatt Festival Association, working with our community. The Moody Park Residents Association, working with our residents of New Westminster. The West End Business Association, working with our merchants in New Westminster. And the Fraternal Order of Eagles, the Ladies Auxiliary, People Helping People, and charities in New Westminster. Family Days, working with our families in our community of New Westminster. I connect and talk with residents throughout our city. I get involved and I am dedicated to our community. I roll my sleeves up and I walk my talk. I've been a realtor since 1991, mostly in the Fraser Valley. I'm married to John Ashdown most days. And we have 4 daughters and 1 son, and now 7 granddaughters and 1 grandson. Thank you to the Downtown Residents Association for this opportunity to speak, and thank you all for coming out tonight. I am an independent, November 15th, Marge Ashdown, second from the top. Thank you.
Your vote for Jim Bell will lead to realistic solutions in our city. For a start, why not free parking on the weekends to encourage our businesses? I don't want an annual business tax. A single registration should do it. And how about a $50 credit for people who get a new electrical connection? That will help to keep those apartments filled. An empty apartment is no help at all to the town. And what we need for Queensborough is a 2-lane connector, not a walkway. Somehow we've got to build a bridge, and we've got the money, or we can get the money, and it has nothing to do with TransLink or the government. That connection would be entirely within New Westminster. So there's another important point. City Hall really has a lock on the school board's opportunities. That City Hall once was the Duke of Connaught High School. And how the world they got conned into building a school up on 10th Avenue, I don't know. I want the city to give it back to the school board, because we're not going to get $100 million from the provincial government. That's just a dream. It's time to be realistic. More importantly, I'd like you to talk to me afterward. Phone. There's a phone number on the card. I'll talk to you later and pass it on to someone else.
Hello. My name is Tracy Block, and I'm honored to speak to you as an independent candidate for City Council. For more than 20 years, I've lived, worked, and raised a family here, and placed my confidence in the city and the citizens that run it. And now I'm asking them to place their confidence in me. Professionally, I'm a sign language interpreter, college instructor, and freelance writer. I've served on the city's education committee and professional boards, and work to assist our youth with disabilities in attaining their future career goals. The question is, what do these times and people demand for the next 4 years for New Westminster? 4 years is a long time. As with all of my fellow candidates, we all have issues important to us. Traffic calming, clear communication, and safety are among mine. Of course, one must elect good people with good intentions, but all of our candidates here are good people with good intentions. So why choose one over another? New West has been well served by its past council, with some members on board for more than a generation. But the time is right to welcome fresh energy, experience, and ideas. Recently, Mayor Wright spoke of a future balanced council. I also urge voters to look for balance in the number of female and male candidates they elect. Given that there are only male candidates running for mayor, the only opportunity to elect females for the next 4 years is on council. An election symbolizes an end as well as a beginning. In the end, I will convert good words into good deeds, not only work toward initiatives, but follow through. All of this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor the first 1,000 days. But let us begin.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Tracy Law.
Hi everyone, my name is David Brett, and before I forget, I want to say, don't forget, vote for Brett. I will say that again at the end. I lived here in Westminster for 20 years. I've raised 3 boys with my wife, Lorraine, who's here. I'm running because I really enjoy the political process, and I feel I have the personality and the ability to be a good city councilor. I've been involved in the community through the Queen's Park Residents Association, where I was president for 4 or 5 years. And in that capacity, one of the things that I got really involved with last year was truck traffic on Boyle, which not only affects the Queen's Park neighborhood, but also the downtown, especially with the new school. I really got proactively involved. I spoke to the media. I had a meeting with the Ministry of Transportation. I talked to all the officials at TransLink. I wrote letters, I made phone calls, I sent emails. And I really studied the situation with the Pateau Bridge. I've really invested myself, and I think that's one thing that I bring to council. Something else that I think that is important for council is that someone with a strong business background is in one of those chairs, and I bring that. I have a master's degree in business administration, and I've raised money for technology startups and have founded companies myself, and I raised funds for the mineral exploration business, and I have a diverse business background. And I hope to bring that to council. And regarding the downtown, I feel that downtown is the heart of the city, and I really believe in the mayor's vision to develop the downtown, because the health that comes out of the downtown will flow to all of the Westminster. So I see a role for myself helping to bring new businesses and employment to the downtown. I really think that's part of my vision.
Thank you.
Don't forget.
Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be here tonight. My name is Calvin Donnelly, and I've done a commitment to the city for some 18 years as a city councilor, and those were great years. And I've seen so many of you out to meetings on a regular basis. I know that you care about the city as much as I do, and I want you to know that that's my reason for running, because I care. And I think the reason that you run for a city or you get involved with something is, whether you're on council or off council, you have to stay involved. And I think I have done that over all my years. And I've been a member of Mayor Wainwright's Wait For Me Daddy Task Force. We've been very successful. You'll hear about it for years to come. I'm the first vice president of the Royal Canadian Legion. I've been past president of the Senior Services Society. I'm an active seniors member at Sanctuary House, and I put on musical programs there several times a year, and it helps seniors because they love to come out and sing and get involved, and it's a great day we have. So if you hear about one, come on over. I'm also secretary of the Stafford Old Age Pension, which is another great thing. I've never been a secretary in my life, but I'm now a secretary. Anyhow, I host a lot of musical events at special occasions around the city, festivals, parades, help the Eagles, I help different organizations, Elks, Legion, all the different organizations throughout the city, and I'm very happy to do that, even the little Santa Claus thing too, so down at the Toys for Kids. But anyhow, I'm on the Remembrance Day Committee, I'm on the Seniors Advisory Committee, quite a number of different things, but what I feel I want to tell you today is I'm an independent candidate. I think we need some balance on council, and everyone's talking about balance, but I understand what balance is all about because I've been on council and I know that the decisions are very difficult. We have to balance ourselves to come up with something that we can all live with. And also, not only us, but the residents of New Westminster. Last night I went out to Queensborough. I won't tell you the story there. But vote for your pal Cal. Thank you very much. And then you know, one of your 6 votes. Thank you very much.
Hello. Oops. I'm not used to holding these things. Good evening. I'm Kathy Cartwright, and I'm running as an independent candidate for council. Isn't it on? Okay. It is up. It's on. Hello, hello. Is this working? Yeah. Good. So we need to start music. So I am still Kathy Cartwright, and I'm still running as an independent candidate for council. There are currently 6 job openings in our city, calling for a candidate that cares about community, is capable of representing the best interests of citizens and business fairly, and is committed to the city of New Westminster growing and prospering. I am that candidate. I have 30 years business experience with a company called Seabright Builders, Inc., and I am 2-term president of the McBride Aberdeen Residents Association. I'm a longtime resident of our wonderful city, having lived with my family in Saskatoon for 24 years, and I want to hand in ensuring that as we become a big city, we remain at heart a small town with built-on community. My main issues and concerns are traffic. Traffic solutions cannot wait until the Tallow Bridge is built in 2023. I believe that we need to work more effectively with our jurisdictional partners to remove tolling as a route planning incentive, gain a direct connection to the Port Mann Bridge from the South Fraser perimeter route, and reevaluate truck routes. Managed development. It is imperative development is compatible with our traffic plans. We are inviting thousands of people to live in the downtown core on a truck route. To be a truly livable city, we must find a way to separate truck traffic from where people live. Community amenities must keep pace with our population. Since I arrived in 1990, another 25,000 people have arrived, but we still have one Cannon Baby School. I will also advocate for lowering taxes. I will advocate for core review of taxation and budgeting policies, as well as spending and procurement practices to ensure citizens are getting best value for their taxes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mike Boca, and it is with great pride that I'm running for your New Westminster City Council. Born and raised in New Westminster, I have seen the city grow and change. I have seen the landscape alter and the population become more diversified. A husband and father of 3, I understand the importance of continued responsible, sustainable growth, and I believe that I can bring a passionate, pragmatic, collaborative open-mindedness that will contribute to our city's future success. I love this city, and I'm fully committed to making it a place we can all be proud of. I could come up here in front of you all and make a lot of big, bold promises. To lower your taxes, increase your services, to fix the transportation problems while at the same time fostering a better relationship with our regional partners. These are all things I'd love to accomplish. But I'm not going to do that today. Instead, I'm going to make promises that I believe are not only important to you, but that, if elected, I know I can keep. I promise to bring a passion and desire each and every day to solve the problems that matter most to you.
Make it stop.
Yeah, he's coming.
Sorry, it's not your recipe. It's something else.
We've got the mic back live.
All right, is that done? It sounds kind of bad. It sounds kind of fuzzy.
Oh, if you keep changing, we can't manage on this end. One mic.
Stick with that one. That sounds terrible.
It sounds
Okay. All right, full power grip. But I'm not going to do that today. Instead, I'm going to make promises that I believe are not only important to you, but that, if elected, I know I can keep. I promise to bring a passion and desire each and every day to solve the problems that matter most to you. I promise to listen to your concerns and work with you to find practical, sustainable solutions. I promise to advocate for you, and for those that feel too marginalized or too disengaged to speak up, to make sure that your voices are heard.
We don't hear you.
Oh,
We do. Take your earphones off. Broadcasting as well. Please use the mics.
I promise to be open, honest, available, and accountable to you, and not just during election time. It's okay, don't worry. And if elected, I promise to bring a positive brand of politics to City Hall, in the hopes of bringing real, tangible change that will help move our city forward and allow it to thrive now into the future. In return, I ask that you make yourself heard, and on November 15th, please get up and vote. Together, we can be the change we want to see in our community.
In Canada in 1974, and in India I had a mechanical engineering diploma holder, and I was awarded best student of the Polytechnic in 1967. And I have been here, managed 20 years retail businesses and 15 years insurance businesses, and I am here from last 24 years. I got a very big experience. I've been 7 years also mortgage broker. And last year I was a BC election candidate, MLA candidate for 2030. I'm planning, and I stand for you, for cut down in the property taxes, for reducing the bus fares for the students and the seniors, etc. And building permit cost also. Building permit cost has gone too much up. Builders are frustrated. Okay, I'm standing for city better planning and budgets, healthy economy, smarter spending, affordable housing, and rental shelter. We will be creating more jobs, and we will be looking after the interest of the businesses. We will be changing the zoning to bring more housing and senior housing, and we will be looking after better road and traffic services. When you go to Queensboro, it is very congested there. We will be managing parks and schools, and we will try to create better city and communication. My suggestion to you all voters is that don't go for any particular party, don't go for sway, try to go for neutral candidate who can help you rather than save people again and again.
Thank you.
Please vote and support.
Thank you.
Good evening, and my name is Bill Harper, and I'm running for City Council. I've been on council for 9 years, and I've loved every minute of it. And I think that when we look at the kind of development we've seen in this city over the past 9 to 10 years, people are going to realize that we've gone from being a poor sister in Metro Vancouver to a rising star. A city that's been innovative and creative about its planning, a city that's has a real creative approach to job creation. We are revitalizing our downtown. The new Anvil Center that opened just last month and its Class A office space built above it will provide over 500 jobs right on the street and benefits to the surrounding businesses as well as revenue to the city. In reclaiming the waterfront from an old derelict property for over 60 years, we built a 9-acre pier park, complete with an urban beach. There will be more development as we go with the Larco properties, and we saw the approval last week of the Boza properties. That's going to create a shopping area that's going to stretch right across our waterfront, right on the water, for citizens and visitors alike. I've been an advocate for building an intelligent city. In City, we built our own fiber network. We now have 17 kilometers of fiber in our city. This network, when it's completed, will bring 1 gigabyte of broadband to every household and every business in the city. This will be a keystone to building a new digital economy for New Westminster. It also allows us to do some real serious community engagement with this kind of fiber and the kind of engagement we can have with citizens in the city. New Westminster wants a safe, friendly streets, thriving economy that supports our families, to preserve our cultural heritage, and a sense of community we all can be proud of. I have the vision and experience to make it happen. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Pat Johnstone. I'm running for office for the first time, but I don't feel like a new guy because I've been an active volunteer around this town for the last decade. I've been serving on council advisory committees on transportation, on community, social issues, on emergency planning, and I've been a volunteer on organizations from the NewWest Environmental Partners to the Brownlee Hill Residents Association to the Rural City Curling Club. And I've been a really outspoken advocate at a bunch of community consultation events, some held in this actual room. I'm in the print media, in the social media. I've been a really vocal advocate for sustainable development and for community planning. I was honored last year when my work in the community was recognized by the Chamber of Commerce, and I was awarded the 2013 Citizen of the Year. So now I want to take that commitment, my energy, and my ideas to the council table. My education and background is in science, so I do take a science-based, evidence-based approach to policy and to ideas. That relies on me doing my research, it relies on due diligence. I don't claim to know all the answers, but I do know how to ask people what the answers, and I'm really quick to communicate things that I hear to people so we can actually have a discussion based on the good work of other people. I don't think New Westminster's, I think New Westminster's a great city. It's on the right track, but it's not without its issues. I'd love to talk at length about the master transportation plan that I helped work on, that will make our transportation plan that makes our neighborhoods livable as a first priority, about balancing growth, so the growth that's affecting the entire region respects our neighborhoods, and about communication at City Hall. All I can say is, if you don't know who's going to show up after Election Day, a good tip is who's showed up before Election Day. I've been showing up for this town for 10 years, and I'm ready to take the next step as City Council. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tej King, and I am running for a spot on New Westminster City Council. I'm a proud resident, born and raised in this beautiful royal city. I am also the executive director for Tours of New Westminster and have served in that role for the last 7 years. My life has always been about promoting this city. I've been doing it from an early age. I don't just love this city, I am in love with this city. And I will work hard to continue making it a vibrant and healthy one. I'm a collaborator. I thrive off creating community connections and positive ones too. 5 years ago, I spearheaded a group called Next New West, which is a young professional networking group aimed at connecting all the young professionals in this city. I saw a need for it, and we started having monthly meetups, and now we are over 200 members. I work in downtown. I play here as well, and soon I'll be a resident next spring. I just bought into the Chapman Holbrook building. I'm a big believer in community engagement. It's up to each of us to make New West the way we want it to become.
I love to bring awareness to the city. I love to promote our local business, and I like to invest in our local businesses as well too, and attractions. I work well in a team, and that's why I'm running as an independent. When elected, I'll be using my 5 senses on any decisions that I'll be making. Will it make financial sense? Will it make business sense? Does it make community sense? Does it make social sense? And most of all, will it create a sense of pride? Will New Westminster residents be proud of the decisions that council will be making? I want to bring that fresh, new perspective. I want to create this new energy on council. I want to be able to spark the vote. I want to bring people on out November 15th. I want to engage that younger. Oh, I was talking really fast there. Anyways, I'll continue. I'm almost done there. I know I've got so I'm here to listen to you, the residents, and to you, the business community as well too. My name is Tej King, and I hope you'll consider saving me a spot on November 15th to be your next New West City Councillor. I've been serving the city since the age of 10, and will continue to do so for many, many decades. Thanks.
I better stand up now. You hear me? Or do you need to hear me? My name is Jerry Liu. I'm from the beautiful part of the Saffordton area. Born and raised here 53 years ago. The reason why I'm running is that I want to make a difference. I did the same thing when I joined the Fraternal Order of Eagles. Today I stand before you, 8,000 members strong, and 8,000 members voted me in as our provincial president. Now I'm seeking your votes because I know why you're here. You care. And because you care gives me more strength to say, I really care. I'm feeding off of your happy energy, your positive energy, and your desire to make New Westminster the best city to live in. I also took a big part with my son, because he played a lot of sports in the US. And being a lacrosse kid, we have a huge background in lacrosse. And a lot of people sit and I go, you know what that W stands for? That W with the salmon that runs in the middle of that? A lot of the kids, especially parents go, that's for Westminster, New Westminster. And I look at the kids and I always say, no, add the other word to it. Really? And they said, and the kids would go, what? And I said, no, that's not it either. Winning. You want to be winners. And that's what we're all here about. Anyways, again, my name is Jerry Liu, and I'm running for New West City Council.
My name is Jamie McAvoy. You'll forgive me if I talk fast. I first voted in a civic election in New Westminster. It was my first election when I was 19 years old. And I really had a lot of trouble deciding who to vote for. Guess why? Because every one of them said they would solve the traffic problem. And I won't tell you how long ago that was, but my brother is jealous that I don't have the gray hair yet. We have 450,000 vehicles a day that go through New Westminster. We generate in commuter traffic 22,000 vehicles a day. When we started some of the work we were doing, reaching out to other communities to say, give New Westminster a break, there was a mayor in an adjacent community and others who said, New Westminster just has to take its share. Well, 66,000 residents, 22,000 vehicle trips, 450,000 vehicles, we're more than doing our share. We need to work on the traffic issues, and we have been. And I'm proud of some of the things we've accomplished. And I say some of the things because I never become complacent, and we still got a lot of work to do. But we created a master transportation plan with 123 recommendations to be implemented in the next few years. We created Safe Routes for Schools programs to help keep our cities safe. And as hundreds of kids start to take new routes to school, we also need transition plans for those early days to make sure that the kids are safe when they're first learning those new routes to school. We worked on a Patella Bridge issue. When I ran 3 years ago, TransLink said there was no plans for Patella, nothing would happen for 20 years. And then we were hit with a proposal for a 6-lane Patella Bridge, and 2 of those would be dedicated to truck traffic. You know I want to talk about this a lot more than I can. I just got my 22nd warning and I'm Irish and it's awfully hard. But what I will say is that I'm a positive person. I have a positive outlook on the issues. I have positive experience in dealing with the issues, and I look for positive solutions. On November 15th, I'm just teasing her. On November 15th, make it Mackable.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for everybody coming out tonight. My name is Scott McIntosh. I am an independent running for City Council. I am dedicated to listen to the community's concerns and work on finding solutions. I was born and raised here in Westminster. I did live in Revelstoke for 5 years, but retained a residence in Saffordin, as I did return most winters to go to BCIC to work on my carpentry, and was a railway conductor for CP Rail. I worked for the City of Vancouver the past 13 years as a concrete construction foreman, so I've been building many of the bike lanes, repairing Kennedy Street after the SkyTrain was put in, working down on Hastings, doing Barrel Street, trying to, or putting some nice designs together, and with that experience, I hope to be able to bring it here to New West, some of the things that have worked and have not worked. I've been very busy with keeping 1004, my union, ever since we had that terrible strike that lasted over 4 months, to try to rebuild positive relations with management and help keep our jobs and not get contracted out, to fight to compete with the contractors and stay on budgets and actually give back to the city taxpayers. I am married to Jessica, have a 3-year-old named Kent. I'd like to thank the Downtown Association for having this tonight. I'd like you to keep one vote for November the 15th for Scott McIntosh, the next generation of McIntosh. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Gavin Palmer, and I'm a healthy 67-year-old semi-retired entrepreneur from Queensborough, who understands Queensborough's uniqueness, and I wish to make sure that it is correctly represented in City Council. New Westminster is in gridlock with commuter and truck traffic. We need to resolve those issues with our neighbors in the region. New Westminster is number 2 in taxing its residents. We must streamline the delivery of city services and improve efficiencies in operation to hold the line and reduce taxes. We need businesses in our city which encourage local employment. With focused planning, strong incentives, and startup assistance, we can attract those businesses into town. Finally, our city needs to finish our roads, our sidewalks, and storm sewers so we can continue to attract businesses and people to live, work, and play here. No longer can we wait 7+ years to finish improvements that have already been paid for by developers. We have a way to go. And that is why I'm asking you to vote for Gavin Palmer on November the 15th. There are some questions that need your attention. Is a severance pension package for retired or non-re-elected councillors needed? The District Labour Endorsed Council voted for a severance pension package to bridge the gap for elected officials when they're out of office. A term is a term, it has an end, so why are we paying them a severance package? I'd like to thank the Downtown Residents Association for this opportunity to meet with you, to give you my opinions. Remember to vote on November 15th. Remember the color purple. Remember Palmer. Place your name on the ballot. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Chuck Buckmeyer.
I'm running for my 5th term on council, and I just found out yesterday that we have a severance package. I wish my staff had notified me of that. I've watched this city change from high crime and a lot of homelessness, issues with prostitution on 12th Street, and we had an issue downtown here with Honduran drug dealers. Fast forward, and I see a city that is really on the move. We've just built a $43 million civic center with destination casino funds. We just built a beautiful Pier Park. We won 10 awards, international awards as well on that Pier Park. It was financed during a time when the market dropped and there was a huge recession looming. 1/3 federal funding, 1/3 provincial funding, and the other third, that Gyro Properties, part of that, was the city sold properties that were generating 0 taxes, used that to pay the other thirds of the matching funds, and we now have this incredible award-winning park right here in your neighborhood, where there was destined to be 7 high-rise towers. Those are no longer. The Larco site was destined to be high-rise towers as well. We downzoned them, expecting to be taken to court for downzoning their land values, and instead they worked with us, and we allowed 3 towers as opposed to the towers that were going to be built. So we've actually eliminated 7 high-rise towers and given the whole city of New Westminster the waterfront back. The homelessness is down 40% because this council has actually embraced and worked with homeless providers and shelters. And this council has actually worked to create award-winning child care policy where we had a child care crisis at one time. There are a lot of good things happening in Westminster. If you've just moved here, look back at history. This is the place to be. This is the place of the future. And I want to continue to work on your behalf. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Doesn't sound like it's on. I guess it is. Thank you very much to the Downtown Residents Association for hosting us this evening, and also to NewWest.me, who's come and videoed this so that people that can't make it out tonight can actually have a look at it at their homes. So I've always wanted to say hello to you in TV land, so now I get yeah. Anyway, my name is Mary Trentadue. I'm running for City Council. What do you need to know about me? I'm the mother of a small child. I also own a small business, and previously I owned a small bookstore that was award-winning, so I feel very proud of my record as a small business owner. The other thing about me you need to know is that I'm an experienced city councillor. I did serve a term in North Vancouver, and I'm very proud of the work we did there. During my term, we were able to bring in rental housing. That's the first time it had been brought in 15 years, which was significant. We also were able to redevelop our waterfront, which is now absolutely a gem for that city. So I'm very proud of the work we did there. I'm running in New West because I believe I bring a voice to the table that needs to be represented. We do need more women on council, and we do need more small business owners. I'm going too fast. Okay, all right. So that's why I'm here. I want to be able to represent those voices, and I want to be able to do the kind of work that I believe is so important as a councillor. I understand how processes work. I understand how to collaborate with people, and I know how to make people all come together and move projects forward. That is really important on a team. I'm very excited about the possibility of working on a team here in New West. And as far as my priorities, traffic, I think everyone said that. How can you ignore it? What I'm very excited about is bringing arts and culture, more of it to the city. Imagine walking down Columbia and being able to have cafes and live music and shows. I think that's the kind of city that we want to have. And housing. How do we manage the housing? November 15th, please remember, Mary Trentadue, I will be at the bottom of the ballot in between these two. And thank you very much for your time tonight.
Good evening. My name is Lori Williams, and I've been in council in New Westminster since 2002. And I'm proud to have been a part of the council that has built New Westminster into a livable, affordable, and accessible city. I know that transportation and traffic are the top concerns for our citizens, and I believe that council has to strive to reduce truck traffic. We've had some wonderful tricks up our sleeve, like the police going up with their truck units. It's apparently being very effective. In addition, the new Batella Bridge must be a 4-lane toll structure, and in this way, some of the truck traffic will revert to Port Manor where it belongs. In a matter of affordability, we must maintain and increase our rental stock. People of all incomes should have the opportunity to live in our wonderful city. And developers have to be advised to include more 3-bedroom units to make housing more family friendly. And of course, we will support the school board in finally, hopefully, getting our new high school. As you're aware, I chaired the Wait For Me Daddy committee that was unveiled on October 4th. And we have national and international recognition of this memorial. And be sure to get a coin and stamp, by the way. They're going to become collector's items. And there are exciting plans for this project in 2015, and I hope to continue the work. We'll have memorial bricks. There's 4 things. Memorial bricks is one. We're going to have a grand march. D&D has agreed to send troops for that. And I hope to convince the federal government to declare it a National Historic Site. 20 seconds already. All right. I'm known for my work with animals, and I hope to do a partnership between the Humane Society and the city to build a new animal shelter in Queensborough. Thank you. I have integrity, strong work ethic, and the ability to carry out my duties as a city councilor. So on November 15th, please vote for Lori Williams.
I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight and making participatory democracy what it is. Participatory. Thank you. My name is Mark Mulder. I'm running for City Council. I spoke in Queensborough last night and talked about my background and my family. I want to talk about something a little different tonight. I want to talk about one example of the kinds of things I think I can do to give me the job of City Council. We've been talking about an intelligent city. I think it's a great place for us to go. I think we need to demonstrate how we can do that. So I want to talk about the job of City Councilor, I want to talk about performance, and I want to talk about measure. I believe it's the City Councilor's job to achieve performance from our city staff. Performance that's equal to the abilities we pay such a high premium for. We pay the best salaries, supposedly get the best people, so then we should get the best performance as a minimum result. Would you agree? My customers know that I set high standards for myself. There's lots of me in the room here today. We deliver a good product, we deliver a great experience, we deliver good value. I believe I can work with our city staff to achieve these standards in service for our community. To start with, I look at our website. We want to be an intelligent city. Have you tried to find anything on our website? Google. You can find anything. 3 or 4 words, away you go. 4 days to find 2014 budget on our city council, our city website. So why do we want that? Well, participation is aided by access to information. It's even better for our staff. The work that they do would be facilitated by having easy access. One of the things what we should be looking for is a government that's transparent, accountable, responsive, and responsible. I believe I can deliver that if you elect me to City Council on November 15th. I'm the last name on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you all for your very thoughtful responses. The Downtown Residents Association posed some questions, collecting questions from the audience. Because we know you don't all agree with each other, we would like to try and move to a bit of a debate and have you respond to each other's response. For some of the issues that we hear time and time again. Now, to make things a little bit more difficult, I'll let you know that for the most part, in the Residents Association, we hear both sides of the issues. And so that should hopefully keep you on your feet a little bit. Now, before beginning, I'd like to remind everybody of how our rules of conduct will work. Low blows, eye gouging, and biting are all allowed. You are in politics after all. But most importantly, we like to try and move forward about 5 minutes for the whole, for each question, but that leaves about 1 minute for each response. And we would like to begin, at least give the mayors the opportunity to respond with one mayoral candidate to rebut the response. I think that clarifies the process. So I'll move to the first question. Entrepreneurs and small business owners have found challenges in securing retail space in the downtown, which they regard as comparable in rent to that of downtown Vancouver. What role do you see the city playing in motivating landlords to rent space in their commercial premises?
Well, again, you're giving me an easy one because with our charter, we can't help any individual business. So it's impossible for us to do that. On the other hand, being a small businessman and being and having paid taxes here for many, many years, it is a chore. And until we bring enough people in here, until we get enough of a mass of people to be the purchasing, and each one of you to come out at Christmas, and each one of you to spend your dollars in our city, we're going to have a problem. But once we have a good base set up, everyone will be able to afford to pay the taxes and the amounts of money that the owners, because remember, there might be some of the owners here, they're the ones that set the rents. So we'll work with them as best we can with that.
Well, I've heard time and time again from residents in the city of New Westminster that they want a more thriving retail environment. They often tell me they're disappointed that they had to leave New Westminster to really get a lot of the shopping needs they have. And I think the city of New Westminster does have a role in creating that environment. I think we've got to start to identify what are the barriers that are preventing businesses from locating in our retail environment. How do we partner with our business associations, whether that be supporting clean, walkable, safe sidewalks, or actually looking at barriers. I had one resident say, I'm really against paid parking, that's why I leave our city. Now, I think there's opportunities to look at what can we do to promote shopping locally with our residents, and that's where potentially a residential free parking pass on weekends might be an opportunity that the city can look at to promote shopping locally in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. We heard earlier about highest taxes. Well, it's not true for residential, but it is for business because there's a proportion of taxes that goes to business taxes and a proportion that goes to residential. We have a lower residential proportion but a higher business. That's something we can look at. Actually, we did look at that with the light industry. Recently, Scott Paper came to us and they talked about the impacts that the taxation on their new warehouse would have. A lot of jobs in New Westminster were at stake. We looked at the regional impact of that and realized that we were significantly higher than the region. And so we decided to start in 2013 to reduce the taxes, a 3-year program to reduce the taxes. I think it's 23% on that business, 34% on that business class. So there is room, certainly is room to look at how we can deal with reducing the business taxes. I think there's an opportunity, especially as the city starts to grow and more people start to purchase and buy in New Westminster. I think we can reduce small business taxes.
I just read a statistic that if every citizen would spend $100 in a local business, our economy would absolutely boom. For instance, I now only go to Landmark Cinema rather than go out, and I'll wait for it to come. So I think this is what we have to do as citizens. If you want the retail to come here, you've got to support it. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Brent? Brent, sorry.
Just like to tell a quick story. A few years ago, I was asked by the Simon Fraser University Venture Connection to sit on a mentor panel with a technology startup called Chase. That company located their office just down here on Columbia Street. But when they got a larger round of financing, around $1 million, they moved to Gastown. So I know the CEO, and I said, who incidentally really loved Westminster. He liked something about NewWest. He liked the Army and Navy. He liked the feeling here. But he said to me, his people didn't want to move to commute to NewWest. So I think what we have to do to make business thrive in the downtown is bring more employees who live and work here so that you can drive business during the morning time and the afternoon. So you have a better critical mass of people to drive business in the downtown.
Thank you.
I believe we can take one more response on that question from the council. Okay.
Well, getting back to the original question, which is how can we bring business and help them thrive here, these incumbents, including Mr. Buckmeyer, said that, well, taxes are too high. 5 terms, and you have to just figure that out. We need to really take a look at it now, not 5 years from now or 5 terms from now. That's why you need new faces on council. We see it. I have a small business here. I have my office. I had to look for 6 months before I could find something that worked, that was affordable. We're raising the utility rates on businesses every year. Another 5.5% is coming your way, folks. It's time to seriously look at why $14 million of hydro profits go into general revenues. Let's take a serious look at businesses and try and help them out so they can thrive in our city.
Next question. NewWest appears to face some challenges with economic development, but is so well connected by transit, centrally located, would appear to hold great potential for office-oriented employment. So our question is, how will NewWest attract a greater share of the region employment or employment growth in technology and knowledge-based sectors? Mr. Vladimir, sorry. Why don't you start? 1 minute.
Hi, this is the question is closely related to the previous question. We had the day before yesterday, we had debate at the Chamber of Commerce, and I did the research, and I can tell you not what I think, but what the members of the Chamber of Commerce think. The biggest challenge to the businesses in Westminster is high business tax. One owner told me that they had their location at the same place in the 60s. Their taxes went up, double in the last 5 years. And if it goes this way, they will have to move out. This is the challenge number 1 that needs to be solved. By the way, I know 1 or 2 things about reducing taxes. I help people to pay less tax, working with H&R Block. Thank you.
Who would like to rebut that on the mayoral campus first?
Well, what we're trying to do is things that are progressive, and you all just saw us build a new and the first office tower that we've had in the city for many, many years, and that will bring 500 new jobs. When we bring the new jobs in, what they will do is bring new customers to take care of the businesses. We'll open downtown, and they'll be selling things that are needed within that business that's in there. So it's probably one of the only things we can do, because remember, since we've been in office, and we're just talking 10 years or 9 years, we lost every single mill that was in the city. We lost 4 in 1 year, which was the biggest tax base that we had for the industry. So we're fighting back, but it has to be changed. We've got a counselor down here, Councillor Harper, that's bringing and working together with us for the smart city, and maybe he'll tell you something about that. Thank you.
First of all, every single business corridor in the city has been redeveloped. Roads, sidewalks, lights, trees. And that was to attract business. Number 2 is we put a moratorium on a huge chunk of industrial property in Queensboro in order to preserve it for business. We're now having 750,000 square feet on the end of 4 property, warehouse, light industrial, We have $500,000 on the former New Westminster sawmill site, along with a Lowe's store as well. When you look at the comprehensive development zones that we have, Saffron Green, the Bury District, and right down here on Columbia Street in terms of the shopping centers, they're all mixed use, residential and shops. And those employment figures, when you look at them on the Bury District alone, is 1,500 jobs. The new Royal Columbian Hospital will be saying 1,500 jobs. You're looking at 3,000 new jobs right in Saffron within a block. So that's going to really build the kind of business office that we've seen it already in our city, and that's what the answer to that question is.
Well, I was hoping that you would also address the Intelligent City work that New West has been working on, but to follow on top of that, we have a huge opportunity before us. I believe that the next boom in job creation is going to be the creative and knowledge-based businesses. And New Westminster has an opportunity to bring those businesses here. And if we bring those businesses here, we will bring the people that work there here. Potentially they will live here, and they will shop and play here as well. So I think that we need to look to other cities that have already been attracting some of this business, find out what best practices are, what do these businesses need when they set up. But this is a whole new industry that we need to tap into, and I think New West is very, very primed to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, the original question is how do we bring the new businesses, the new knowledge-based industries to New West? We can learn from other cities. We can see when Microsoft decided to leave an office park out in the suburbs of Richmond and decided to move downtown. They didn't do it because it was cheaper, they did it because that's where their employees wanted to be. So we're building a downtown where people want to be. People want to be at the river market, people want to go to our restaurants, people want to be around our retail environments. That's a big part of attracting these new types of businesses here. So the office tower downtown is a big step in the right direction. When we build Saffron Green, we need to make sure it's ready so it's that same kind of attraction. They're doing it in the Bury District right now. If we want to attract those new industries, unfortunately those are gone. So if we want to attract new industries, that's what we have to keep on doing.
We have a question from one of the members who, I guess we could probably run through this quite quickly, but asked if each of the council and mayoral candidates could let us know if they live in New Westminster.
Yes.
What neighborhood?
Downtown.
Mark? Queensborough.
Saffron.
Just off McBride by the Canada Games. Saffron.
West End, soon to be downtown.
Beautiful sunny brow of the hill.
Moody Park.
Lumber Park.
Lower Saffron.
West End. Windsor Park.
The West End.
West End of New West, the West End of Vancouver.
New Westminster.
Thank you.
The beautiful West End.
Two areas, 7th Avenue and up at Victory Heights.
Moody Park.
Moody Park.
Quayside.
Downtown New Westminster.
It's called Brow of the Hill, but it's half a block up Royal, right across from Douglas College.
Quayside.
Bookends.
I have a question specifically addressed to Mr. Cote. Okay, sorry. You speak that the city has done a bad job of meaningfully engaging citizens in development decisions. You've been on council for 9 years, so whose fault was this poor engagement? Your staff, neighbors, or yours?
Well, certainly having served on city council for the past 9 years, I had to be accountable for what we've done during that period. And a lot of the work I have been proud about But when I had that conversation several weeks ago from that resident, it did open my eyes to the importance of having that dialogue. So I can't sit here and say that everything that I've done in my 9 years is perfect, but I think it does show that I'm the type of person that is willing to listen and actually take constructive feedback and then move forward with ideas on how we can build a better city and how we can have a more meaningful and genuine dialogue, because there are so many opportunities. Having researched on technology, getting out into the community, and actually having processes when we do have dialogues with our residents that when they participated, they're actually part of the decision-making process. We need to move to collaboration, not just consultation.
Yes, and dealing with that kind of communication, we've all come across the similar theme that comes out of City Hall for the last decade is it's a done deal. It gets very frustrating for residents just to say, well, I'd like some input. And you get there, and some of these councillors are very brash and very rude and won't let you speak. It's a difficult process as an individual who's not used to speaking to face that kind of confrontation. It's one of the reasons why we need new, fresh faces on council. I believe in collaboration with the community. I've been a great person to do that myself, to speak for people that don't have the opportunity to express themselves, and they want somebody to do that for them. As a councillor, as a mayor, as a group, we need to listen more carefully. And we can't be presenting projects on behalf of developers. They have to do that work.
Well, I just want to remind everyone that of all the 22 municipalities in the Lower Mainland, your city is the only one that allows someone to come in, sign a form, and speak their piece. Right there on the city council on a Monday night, on the television, and ask us all the questions or tell us what they want. Now, as far as collaboration, as far as doing the system and the process, that's something that's in place already, and we have a staff for that. You're paying them, okay? And we have to count on them. We're doing something now with the Smart City. It's one of the reasons why we're doing it. So we'll have more interactivity between the public and ourselves. Now, I don't know much more we can do, and I think, quite frankly, that what you're getting from the city is well worth paying the people that you do to get the right answers and to build what should be done here. We all can't agree. There's many times we don't agree. But if you look around, I think you'll find out most of the things that we've done has been on the right track.
I'd like to make sure that people don't get the idea that, and Mayor Wright is right, you can go in any Monday night and speak for your 5 minutes. That's not something that's happened recently. That's been going on ever since I can remember, back into the days of Mooney Evers, Tom Baker, all the mayors that have come up through the years. It's kind of something that's been nice about New Westminster. You can go and say your 5-minute piece. And I think that's what community involvement is all about. And you're not going to get an argument necessarily, but you have the chance to say what you want to say, and the people at home on TV will hear it, and that's what will solve a lot of problems. That breaks deadlines and deadheads that people can't get by, because they see that this is actually happening. You're not doing something about it. They're going to ask questions. Why aren't you?
Having the ability to walk up to a mic in front of councillors is terrifying to people. And I think that the residents associations, through their executive, need to support the people who have questions to council. And I'm more than happy to do that, and I've done that for the people of Queensborough, and I would recommend that downtown does it for their people. A lot of people are petrified, so it's not that easy.
I have worked with the Brown Hill Residents Association, and it's sometimes pressing to go to those meetings when developers are bringing their plans in and having 5 people show up or 4 people show up, and the same people show up all the time. So we have a responsibility as citizens to get out there, and when we do have the opportunities. Like, I look on the back wall right now and I see posters for development that's planned for this very site. I remember being in the meeting in this building talking about that. We need to take responsibility personally as citizens. But as a city, we can do a better job communicating. I've been blogging in the city for the last 5 years. I've been trying to bring issues forward and use social media and print media just to get more people involved. The city page in the newspaper is boring and dry. Let's actually have a conversation through media. Sorry, we went.
Thank you. I was actually going to move on to the next question. Sorry, I can't get everybody to respond. There's about half a dozen questions here regarding development, and most of them, I would say, are concerned about height or traffic. So I'm trying to paraphrase this question into all of these concerns into one. I would say among this group, there are a myriad of thoughts on the matter of development, not necessarily resolutely for or against, but in recognition for the shortcomings and some of the advantages. We're curious as to your view on developing the downtown, the opportunities it presents, and its weaknesses, and the weaknesses of recent experiences. In a word, how might you shift current strategies to create less impacts, but still receive the benefits of a growing city? I'd first like to the mayoral candidates. Mr. Wright.
Well, again, when I stand here, you know what we've been doing, and we've been doing what we thought was the best for the city, and taking some of the older sites and the derelict sites and the sites that weren't as good as some others, and we put the high-rises there. And you need high-rises to do your share of the population that's coming into the cities of the Lower Mainland. We're going to go to 85,000. We do not want to touch the community. We do not want to touch your neighborhoods. But there's two issues that we can look at. I think we can look at lane houses and laneway houses, and we can look at row houses. And where they fit, we should use, but we should go to you. You tell us if you want them in your neighborhood or not, and then we can make sure that they're done the proper way. But housing is the most important, is probably the most important issue that we have here, because transportation takes more difficulty for us to work with other parts. Housing is up to us.
Well, I'm a strong believer in good planning. I've spent the last 4 years getting my master's degree at SFU in urban studies, and I believe that the city is not in the business of selling condos. We're in the business of developing good neighborhoods. And I think there's huge opportunities in our upcoming official community plan process to implement some strong policies to improve our city. One thing that I would like to see in New Westminster is a family-friendly development policy. I think there should be mandated 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units in all new developments. We need to make sure our community is one for people of all ages and diversity. And I think we need strong public policies to make sure we don't end up in a city 25 years from now that we're not happy with.
Thank you. I had an interesting discussion with someone just yesterday who said, do I support quality of life in New Westminster, or do I support economic development? Well, I thought, ideally they go together, right? I think they do go together. And I think when downtown New Westminster has become more of a neighborhood in the past few years, and we've done quality of life work like Westminster Pier Park, we've turned what was going to be a conference center into a conference center that's also can serve as a community center, and we've planted trees, and we're going to be doing community art, among other things. I think that all of that contributes to the economic environment. And when you really look at businesses in New Westminster, most businesses in New Westminster are small businesses with a storefront, often being run by the individual homes or the family. And people in that situation need customers who are happy to be on the street and happy to be walking past that store. So I think it's about the environment we create. And in terms of development, someone suggested last night that we should not tell the developers what to do. Well, we've introduced a policy for more family-friendly housing, more seniors-ready housing, more rental housing, and the developers have chosen to work with us on that. I said to a developer a few years ago, what would you do if we had 20% seniors housing? He shrugged his shoulders and he said, Jane, we do it in California.
Thank you.
Thank you. At the beginning of the millennium, we engaged in the Livable Region Strategic Plan. It was a plan that was built by all the regional mayors, councils, and the provincial government. It won a United Nations Award for planning. But what it did was it put the planning and the growth around the core of the towns and the cities and around transit and SkyTrain. And it tried to save and preserve the farmlands and the green spaces out in the Fraser Valley. The new direction now is to build a 10-lane bridge to develop those lands, but we still need to make sure that the growth needs to be on the land that is destined for growth, which is around here. Unfortunately, that does cause pressures, especially in the downtown area, so we need to be sensitive to that growth. We need to work with the community. We need to look at how we can make high-rises not as tall, but so we still provide view corridors for people, and we have to be sensitive about how we develop. But there is going to be growth around the SkyTrain station. That is part of the award-winning plan, and it's going to continue, but it will put some pressures, and we need to deal with how we address those pressures. Thanks.
Well, I wish I had spoken before Mayor Wright because he said what I wanted to say. But anyway, basically, I also am very excited about housing. I'm a huge advocate of creating all different kinds of housing options. And I had an opportunity to work on a working group for laneway housing. So I know how to bring that into a community. It doesn't work everywhere, but it does work in some communities. I think that we do need to have the kind of density we have downtown. I think it's a fine line between not enough and too much, but with the kind of transit we have there, it's the most appropriate form of housing. But I think density should be shared, and I think it should be shared in other communities. So we need to be looking at the potential of laneway housing, townhomes, walk-ups, smaller homes on smaller lots, anything else that can improve some of the density in other areas and still maintain the livability that we enjoy in this community. Thank you.
First of all, when it comes to efficient community plan, 5 years ago, downtown we had a whole process of changing our downtown efficient community plan. 1,000 people showed up. We had workshops, we had tours, we had architects there to help us draw out what we thought the downtown should look like, and that was adopted. And what came out of that was a number of things. First of all, what came out of it was Pier Park. Everybody thought we should redevelop that waterfront in order to make it a livable space for people who live downtown. Secondly, what we did was we reduced the parking in any building or high-rise that was built within 8 minutes of the SkyTrain. And that 8 minutes was considered to be the zone in which high-rises could be built. Because we wanted a city that was more walkable, people were biking, people were using mass transit. And 45% of people in New Westminster use rapid transit, the highest use in the lower mainland. And I would suggest that downtown is our highest use above that as well. So I think in many respects, we are already doing that. We're going to review the entire city's efficient community plan in the next 2 years, and some of those questions will come up. But the whole idea of having, parkland, livable space, and a downtown that people can actually live with their families is really critical.
Okay, to lighten the mood just ever so slightly, I would like everyone on the panel here, and we'll start with Mr. Crosty up there, to tell us what your favorite Halloween costume was as a child. Just very quickly, off the top of your heads, everyone, just to show us that, you can.
Yes, I went out dressed as Santa Claus.
Well, one of my oldest memories about Halloween is when my dad built me this giant pumpkin costume. It took me about half an hour to get the costume on. The one problem is it also took half an hour to get off. So when I had to go to the washroom 5 minutes after getting the costume on, we had some problems. But that's probably the most memorable Halloween costume that I remember.
All right, I have to admit that I lived until age of 26. I lived in a country that didn't celebrate Halloween. I didn't learn about Halloween until I came here, but I went once to an office party. I was dressed as a pirate, and maybe it was Alibaba, and the lady who was judging, she was, I believe, from Turkey, and she liked my costume so much that they gave me a big prize for it. Thank you.
from an era the same as some of you that there was no purchase costumes, you made them yourself. And so I was a tool man with my dad's clothing that I could carry the little can that he took to work with his meals.
Mr. Ashton, Ashdown.
Sorry that I was trying to interrupt, but I did remember my mother, when I was a kid, wanted me to be Tonto, Four Rangers for Tonto. And she made me a gunny sack outfit, which was the worst thing I ever wore. I didn't have anything on underneath it.
Yes, we didn't have commercial costumes in those days, so my mother made me a corn on the cob, full length with the tassels coming out.
About 25 years ago, my boyfriend and I decided to go to a party. He was very creative and made himself a full-sized old grandmother shoe out of cardboard.